Good evening, everybody. My name is CJ Robinson, and tonight's speech will be about my cultural heritage, which is Irish. I am of Irish descent. And I'd like to start the speech off with a little bit of a little known fact. Everybody thinks that the color of the Irish folk was green. Be wrong. It was originally blue. I know, weird. Irish people didn't actually pick up the color green as their color until Ireland got dubbed the Green Isles. Ever since then, green has kind of been the staple for the Irish folk. I hope tonight's speech kind of gives you a little information of why you celebrate, or why, if you go out and celebrate St. Patrick's Day, it's how and why and what kind of went into what makes St. Patrick's Day St. Patrick's Day. It's not all about, beer and stuff like that. There's actual a reason behind it. I'd like to start the speech off and tell you about I'll go over how they celebrated it back then compared to now. So back then, it was celebrated by everything got shut down. Bars, inns, taverns, everything got shut down, and they would all meet together and congregate and kind of sit down, and there wasn't a lot of alcohol or anything like that. It was more of almost like a church gathering, if you want to look at it that way. They kind of got together and congregated and ate some food and kind of, gave thanks to, I would say, a new year or something like that. It really wasn't a big drinking festival. Take that to now, to modern day times, St. Patrick's Day and the whole green beer phenomenon. Over 13 billion, I'll let that sit in for a second. $13 billion are spent on St. Patrick's Day every year. That's one of the top 5 biggest holiday money bringers in the world. And in that $13 billion goes to, of course, beer, modern time beer. Guinness, which is the staple of the Irish beer, their sales on St. Patrick's Day go up over 800%. Give you a little visual aid right here. This is a Guinness. It is established in 1759. So it's been around for a long time. Now I would also like to move on and go over what is St. Patrick's Day and green beer. So St. Patrick's Day and green beer, modern time, is originally to celebrate Lent, which is the spring, they would celebrate the first day of spring, and it kind of molded into, we still celebrate the first day of spring, but more alcohol and drinking and green beer, and it's more of a cultural phenomenon now where everybody kind of goes out and drinks and has a good time. Originally, it was to celebrate the life and death of St. Patrick, who actually brought Christianity over to the Irish people, kind of created this cultural change and kind of stirred up the Irish people a little bit, so they wanted to give thanks. So they molded Lent and his death kind of to give thanks to Jesus for spring and the ability to plant food and live and everything like that. And that kind of got morphed into more of it's still celebrated, but there's more, I got some visual aids of the typical alcohol that's drank, most prevalent alcohol that's drank on St. Patrick's Day. I'd like to go over why. Why is it celebrated? Well, 55% of all of Americans actually celebrate St. Patrick's Day. That's the number 2 most claimed heritage in America. 2. A lot of Irish folks came over here. A lot of people are of Irish descent. Why is it celebrated? It's celebrated because, it was a cultural shock. It was a new culture that was brought over, and a new way of life for the Irish people, and it kind of celebrates how, St. Patrick brought a new way of life to the Irish people through religion. And also a little known fact, green beer wasn't a thing until 1904. It was actually brought over here by Dr. James Murphy. He actually stuck green dye in everything. It was kind of just a festival thing. He wanted to spruce up and go, hey, look, everything's green. We're the green people, everything like that. Our colors are green, so he stuck green dye in beer, and that's where you kind of get green beer and St. Patrick's Day kind of molded into one, and it became a modern day kind of cultural phenomenon thing to do on St. Patrick's Day. I'd like to go over the different types of beers that are drank on St. Patrick's Day. This is Guinness, of course, like I said earlier, it's a stout beer. It's a very dark, rich, coffee-flavored beer. This is a Pilsner beer, style beer. It's your light beers, your very blonde, like Bud Light type beers. It's very, very light. And then, sorry, you have your lagers. Your lager is basically with Irish, they would stick beer in the whiskey barrels and let the whiskey kind of germinate a little bit and kind of get the flavor of that, and they would stick it into this. These two beers are very dark beers, so they really aren't designed to be dyed green. This is the Pilsner. The Pilsner is a very light beer. This is the one you'll typically see on the modern day side of St. Patrick's Day and the green beer phenomenon is your Pilsners, because they're very light beers. So that's a little bit of information on, St. Patrick's Day and the green beer phenomenon. And, I hope you guys really can understand the importance of what St. Patrick's Day and green beer and this whole holiday kind of thing is about. I look forward to seeing you guys out on St. Patrick's Day, being safe and responsible and, eating some food and drinking some green beers. And, if I see you out and about with a green beer and you're over 21 and drinking responsibly, let's cheers it up and have a good time. Thank you so much for listening to my speech. Hope you have a great night.